Good morning, students. I welcome you all in biology class. And in this class, today we'll continue the same chapter, that chapter of human physiology, breathing and exchange of gases. As in previous class, we have studied about the different respiratory structures in the animal world and what are the different that system of human respiratory system that we have studied different parts, their functioning, and at the same time we have studied about the respiration, what actual respiration is, how we define this, what's the difference between breathing and respiration, cellular respiration. So these all concepts we have studied in the previous class. Now today I'll start with the class with the mechanism of respiration, or what are the different steps which are involved in this process, and we have to study these all steps one by one. So the first step of respiration is breathing or pulmonary ventilation, by which pulmonary ventilation means when there is a inhalation of oxygen and expulsion of carbon dioxide. Then when the air is present in the lungs or inhaled, this oxygen is diffused into the blood, and the carbon dioxide which is present in the blood, that diffused in the alveoli. So that process is called diffusion of gases. Then we will see the transport of gases, that at the when exchange takes place at the surface of lungs, then how this gas is transported throughout the body, that transport is the third step. Then when gas is transported, and next exchange means that exchange takes place at two levels, one at the surface of the lungs and second at the level of tissues. So these tissues, blood and tissues, the exchange between blood and tissues by the process of same diffusion, as gases always moves or transported via diffusion. And the last step is that utilization, that we consider as cellular respiration. We will deal the detail of this in the chapter 14, where we will study about the respiration in plant. There we will study the detailed process of respiration, cellular respiration, as we have to study about the glycolysis and we have to study about the Krebs cycle. These are different mechanisms. The detail of this cellular respiration we will study in the chapter 14. So these all are the different steps that involve in the process of respiration. And in today I am starting with this first step, breathing or pulmonary ventilation. So as the definition is clear that it is a just exhalation and inhalation of gases, oxygen and carbon dioxide exchange. So this process involves the two sub processes, we can say: inhalation, that is known as inspiration, and exhalation or expiration. Inhalation, intake of oxygen, and exhalation, that removal of carbon dioxide from the lungs. And this, the basic principle of this breathing mechanism is the pressure gradient difference between the lungs and the atmosphere or lungs, that is intrapulmonary pressure. जो pulmonary term है, that is always related to lungs. So within the lungs, the pressure, intrapulmonary pressure and the atmospheric pressure, the difference between these two causes the inhalation process as well as exhalation process. I am explaining this process through diagram also and through the flow diagram also. So here first we will discuss about the flow diagram. So intrapulmonary pressure, the pressure which is present in lungs. First I am going to discuss the inhalation process, inhalation or inspiration process, that intrapulmonary pressure is less than the atmosphere. So it is very clear that air moves from high pressure to low pressure. Atmosphere pressure is high, the lungs, the pressure in lungs is low, so the air automatically move from atmosphere through nasal passage to the conducting passage to the lungs and finally in the alveoli. So the pressure gradient is like this, that the intrapulmonary pressure is less than the atmospheric pressure, then air automatically move inside the lungs. And how this process, how this pressure gradient creates. So for this, there are special structures, as we have already discussed about the diaphragm. Diaphragm is a muscular partition between the abdomen and the thorax or chest cavity. It is a muscular partition. So thorax cavity, this diaphragm helps to maintain the pressure in the rib cage or in the lungs. So diaphragm diaphragm is there. Other than diaphragm, there are muscles. These are specialized set of muscles which are present in ribs. These are called external and internal intercostal muscles, that also helps in the process, as well as the chest bone. Chest bone, that the hard structure that is present in the chest area. This chest bone, where our buttons are there of kurta, that place just hard structure, a size in this size. The bone is called sternum. Sternum is a chest bone. I already discussed it with when we are discussing about the how the rib cage is formed. For the ventral side, for this side, the ribs are attached with the sternum, and from the back they are attached, or from the dorsal side they are attached with the our vertebral column or backbone. So in this way, rib cage is formed. So this chest bone also moving and allowed to maintain the pressure in the system. So that we will see how it is created. So let's start. What happened when the inspiration process starts? फर्स्ट देयर इज ए कॉन्ट्रैक्शन ऑफ डायफ्राम. सबसे पहले डायफ्राम कॉन्ट्रैक्ट होगा. इसको हम एक्सपीरियंस कर सकते हैं जब आप इनहेल करते हो. तो व्हेन यू इनहेल, दैट यू हैव सीन दैट देयर इज ए चेंज. आपका जो एब्डोमिनल एरिया से ऊपर वाला पार्ट है, जो चेस्ट कैविटी है, उसमें मूवमेंट होता है. दैट इज change in the volume, that is caused diaphragm जो है that contracted. That contraction of diaphragm causes the increase in the volume of thoracic chamber or the chest cavity. Volume increases. Volume जो है that diaphragm increases the upper and lower, or we can say anterior or posterior, ऊपर और नीचे. इस तरह से chest cavity का size increase होता है. Diaphragm up and down, contraction, relaxation, contraction, relaxation. So this contraction of diaphragm causes the increase in the thoracic volume or thoracic chamber, anterior posterior axis. Anterior posterior axis increases. So at the same time, these external intercostal muscles, they also allows the ribs to contract, जिससे rib cage पूरा move होता है. जब हम inhale करते हैं तो we have seen this movement that the whole rib cage is moving or lifts up, ऊपर आ जाता है. That rib cage is lifting up. So this lift up, and at the same time the sternum comes here. It increases in this dorsoventral axis पे size को बढ़ाती है. So in this way, sternum causes the increase in the width, and that diaphragm causes the length. So these all aggregate to increase the size of the thoracic chamber. Chest cavity का size increase हो जाता है. That increase causes the increase in pulmonary volume, or there is a lot of space, and the air which is present inside, obviously more volume, and the pressure is reducing. So pressure kam ho gaya. If the pressure is less than atmospheric pressure, air automatically comes from outside, from atmosphere to the lungs. So this is how the process is going on. Contraction of diaphragm, lifting up the rib cage, sternum, the chest bone, these all three aggregate, coordinate to causes the increase in the volume of chest cavity, and this volume causes the decrease in the pressure of air which is present in the alveoli, in the lungs, than atmospheric pressure. So as a rule, the air moves from outside to inside the system, inside the lungs. I'll explain this with the help of diagram also. This is the diagram that shows the exhalation, inhalation process. See, the air is entering here, and if you see, this is diaphragm. Contraction of diaphragm causes the increase, the anterior posterior increase, and rib cage and this sternum, rib cage and chest bone causes the in this direction. So the chest volume increases, the thorax volume increases, so the air which is present, it reduces the pressure. Pressure is less, more space, less pressure, so that causes the air to move inside. And if we see the exhalation, that is just opposite to this process. See, here we diaphragm relax, it comes to its normal position. When we expire, see, the diaphragm come to its normal position, ribs, sternum, the chest bone, all coming to their, all three structures coming to their original position. So the volume of the thorax cavity or the thorax chamber decrease. When the volume decrease, the air pressure increase in that. So that intrapulmonary pressure is more than the atmospheric pressure. So air automatically from inside to outside. So this is how the expiration, here reduction in the volume of the chest cavity with the help of diaphragm, ribs, sternum all relaxed, and reduction in the size, reduction in the volume, that causes the increase in intrapulmonary pressure, and the air automatically expelled out from the lungs. So these two processes are totally opposite to each other, and they aggregate to perform the breathing process. So this is also through flow diagram, diaphragm and sternum relaxed in their normal position. Ribs cage is also in the, that is lift up during the process of inspiration. Now it is going down, reduce the thoracic volume, chest cavity का volume कम हो जाएगा, जिसकी वजह से उसमें present air का pressure बढ़ जाएगा. Less space, more pressure. So that intrapulmonary pressure, that is more than the atmospheric pressure, a little bit slightly pressure is more, that causes the expulsion of air from the lungs. So this is the first step, how pulmonary ventilation takes place. It is the basic principle of this is that there is a pressure gradient difference between the lungs and the atmosphere that causes the air to inhale and to exhale, and these events are performed with the help of three basic structures present in the system. One is diaphragm, this diaphragm, then second is the chest bone known as sternum, and the third structure is rib cage, and the muscles that present in the rib cage or in between the ribs, intercostal muscles, exterior, external as well as internal intercostal muscles, that allows this process to fulfill. So now I am moving on to the apparatus, one apparatus that is known as spirometer. It is a apparatus which is used by the doctors or the lung specialists to check, to assess the pulmonary function. कितने lungs work कर रहे हैं, क्या function है lungs का, कितना वॉल्यूम ऑफ एयर इनहेल कर पा रहे हैं, कितना एक्सहेल कर पा रहे हैं, लंग कैपेसिटीज क्या है. These all parameters are used for clinical diagnosis. So that instrument is known as spirometer. Now I am moving to the another part, another topic, that is respiratory volumes. How much air a person can inhale, how much air a person can exhale. So how we can use these terms in different types of respiratory volumes, and on the basis of these respiratory volumes we can calculate the lung capacities also. Different type of capacities are also calculated on the basis of these respiratory volumes. So these respiratory volumes are of four types, in four categories. So first I am going to discuss the tidal volume. Tidal volume, it is denoted by TV, and TV means that volume of air inspired or expired during normal respiration. when the person is normally inhale and exhale, when we are sitting normally and inhaling and exhaling, so this in this process, that the amount of air or the volume of air that is inspired or expired during normal, there is no any force, only normal respiration, that is known as tidal volume, and that is approximately 6,000 to 8,000 ml per minute. So I'm saying that many time I have given one question that calculate the tidal volume of a healthy person per hour. And generally what happened, the students are writing 6,000 to 8,000. No, just see per minute, per second, or per hour. So you have to calculate accordingly. So tidal volume, see, I am normally inhaling and exhaling, so that is called tidal volume. And the another is inspiratory reserve volume, that additional volume of air a person can inspire by a force, by a forcible inspiration. Forcible means, जैसे when we are doing pranayam, तो देखा होगा when we inhale, so we will inhale a normal, and then we will force to inhale more air. That inhaled air, that volume of air is inspiratory reserve volume, and it is 2,500 to 3,000 ml. Similarly, expiratory reserve volume is additional volume of air a person can expire. Same during pranayam when we exhale, जब हम forcefully exhale कर रहे हैं, normal exhalation is tidal volume, but here we are exhaling by force. So that exhaled volume is known as expiratory reserve volume, ERV, and it is 1,000 to 1,100 ml. These all parameters for healthy men. In old age, when the lungs capacities are reduced, so that causes this reduction in the volumes due to some infections or due to malfunctioning in the lungs. So these all parameters on disorders or some diseases like asthma, so these volumes are reduced, that can be checked with the help of spirometers by doctors, and they can diagnose the disease or disorder. Now come to the last type of, there are four volumes. One is tidal volume, inspiratory reserve volume, IRV, ERV, and many time in exams you have to learn the short form also. Question will come TV, ERV, IRV, so you have to learn these short forms also. Residual volume, residual means bacha hua, remaining volume. The volume of air which is always remain in our lungs, it is always there, true, universally there, that some amount of air is always present in lungs, क्योंकि अगर lungs पूरी तरह vacant हो जाएंगे, तो there is a pause between the transportation or between the that the blood transportation of gases, oxygenated, deoxygenated blood that is transported via heart, that stops. So heart stops if pause is there in the functioning of heart, the person leads to death. So that's why it is the exchange is continuous, it's always there, there is no pause. हम जो inspire कर रहे हैं, expire कर रहे हैं, exhale कर रहे हैं, inhale कर रहे हैं, उसके बीच में जो pause है, उसमें exchange रुकता नहीं है, उसमें the exchange is going on because of this residual volume which is always present in lungs even after forcible expiration. हम कितना भी force लगा लें, हमारे lungs कभी vacant नहीं होंगे, some amount of air is always there, and that volume is known as respiratory residual volume, and it is 1,100 to 1,200 ml. And on the basis of this pulmonary capacities, we can able to calculate the capacities also, pulmonary capacities on the basis of these respiratory volumes by adding them. So first is inspiratory capacity, IC. टाइडल वॉल्यूम जो नॉर्मली हमने इनहेल करना है, एक्सहेल करना है, इनहेल करना है, प्लस IRV, दैट इज इंस्पायरेटरी रिजर्व वॉल्यूम जो हमने फोर्सफुली लेना है. सो टोटल इज इंस्पायरेटरी कैपेसिटी. सिमिलरली एक्सपायरेटरी कैपेसिटी can be calculated by tidal volume plus ERV. You can learn these formulas because many time questions are there, volumes are given, and you have to calculate the particular pulmonary capacity. Then functional residual capacity, that is volume of air that will remain in the lungs after normal expiration. I am not talking about that forceful expiration. Normal expiration is there, and that the amount of air which is present remained in lungs plus ERV. So these two added and calculate the functional residual capacity. कितना functional residual capacity है lungs का, कितना volume of एयर जो है वो रिटेन हो रहा है, रिमेन है लंग्स में, और कितना एक्सपायरेटरी रिजर्व वॉल्यूम है, दैट इज फंक्शनल रेजिडुअल capacity. And this is vital capacity. Vital capacity can be calculated by adding all volume, tidal volume, ERV, expiratory reserve volume, IRV. इसमें residual volume add नहीं करते हैं, rest three volumes are added to calculate the vital capacity of the lungs. Vital capacity means that is how much lungs having the capacity to breathe. Then total lung capacity, kitna total lung capacity hai, that is calculated by adding all the four volume. So this is the difference. In vital capacity we are not adding remaining volume or RV. Here we are adding the remaining volume also. So RV, ERV, TV, IRV added in the total lung capacity, as these three forms the vital capacity also. So formula can be residual volume plus vital capacity, also used to calculate the, if the vital capacity is given, you can add with RV and calculate the total lung capacity. So children, this is all about for the today's lecture. I hope everything is clear. Then we will revise this in the next video, in the next lecture. Thank you. Have a nice day.